Hi, everyone. I'm here with Patricia Cota-Robles, a special guest to the Conscious Leadership Program. She's joining me to discuss module number 4, Live in Presence. Patricia is co-founder and president of the nonprofit educational organization New Age Study of Humanity's Purpose, which sponsors the annual World Congress on Illumination. Patricia was a marriage and family counselor for 20 years. She now spends her time freely sharing the information she is receiving from the beings of light in the realms of illumined truth. This is accomplished through her weekly online radio program, website, video blogs, books, email articles, and free seminars. The divine intent of these celestial sharings is to give humanity greater clarity and understanding as we progress through these wondrous but extremely challenging times on Earth. Patricia is an internationally known teacher and has taught workshops all over the world. And welcome, Patricia, to the Conscious Leadership Masters Program.
Well, thank you, Steve. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's so great to have you with us. And first, let me share that you're such a wonderful example of someone that's living in presence here as we jump into questions.
Well, thank you very much. I'm not unique in that. There are billions and millions of people on this planet doing incredible, wonderful things.
Yes, boy, including these leaders going through this conscious leadership program. But thank you just for really the wonderful ways that you're in service every single day, as we were discussing just a moment ago.
Well, thank you.
So, Patricia, most people are living on the earth today believing that we're separate from the divine, from each other, and all of life, but they're actually mistaken in this, aren't they?
They absolutely are. And that happened after we fell from grace, and the symbology is partaking of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And all evil is, in any of its forms, is when we've made the free will choice to express our thoughts and feelings in ways that aren't based in love. And when we began doing that, we fell into such dense frequencies that we literally created this chaotic illusion of separation and duality. We lost awareness of our God self in the higher realms, and we began believing erroneously that we are our physical body and that the physical plane is all that exists. So that means that our purpose and reason for being is gratifying the physical senses. So now, during this cosmic moment on Earth, as we're transforming back into what we originally were and moving into even higher aspects of our divinity, we're reversing those adverse effects of our fall from grace. And remembering that we are one with all life is the key factor in transforming this planet back into its original divine potential.
Amen to that. And Patricia, you share that there are powerful magnetic shifts occurring now that are dramatically affecting humanity's etheric and mental bodies, as well as our brain structures, that are helping each person to move forward in the light. Can you talk a little about this?
Yes, this is, the information coming forth from the heavenly realms, from our sisters and brothers in the higher realms who are like college professors compared to us being kindergarten students. They're guiding us and directing us through this. They've always been available, and we've just not been able to reach up in frequency to connect with them the way that we were originally intended to do. But now that that is happening, this information is flowing through the heart and mind of every open door. Anyone that's willing to go within and receive this information is available through the realms of truth. And for quite a while now, each of us has been raising in vibration the maximum that we can withstand in every 24-hour period. This has been part of the intervention of our own God self. And this year specifically, I'll focus on this year because this is a monumental year when we are moving forward in quantum leaps and bounds. And since the beginning of this year, the beings of light have been assisting us to raise the frequency of vibration of our physical, etheric, mental, and emotional bodies in ways that will allow our God self, our I am presence, to begin integrating and to reconnect our strands of DNA that actually short-circuited into the double helix. Originally, we had 12 strands of DNA that when we fell into such dense frequencies of fear-based consciousness, those strands fragmented into the double helix that our scientists are aware of now. And even with all we know about the genome and the scientific research of our DNA, the scientists still believe a vast portion, some say as much as 96%, is junk DNA. Well, God is very practical. There's no such thing as junk DNA. So what is happening with that is that it is just dormant and fragmented DNA that scientists haven't been able to categorize because they haven't been able to activate it back into its potential. So this year is dedicated to assisting humanity in mass raise the vibration. So we've been receiving these influxes of light. One of the first ones we received from our Father, Mother God was this incredible expansion of a frequency of divine grace that would help us forgive and transmute the distorted miscreations that caused the fragmentation of our DNA in the first place. And what the beings of light say divine grace is that it's a level of forgiveness beyond what we have earned. There have also been waves of light that have opened new portals of divine enlightenment with the divine intent of awakening within every heart flame the remembrance of the oneness of all life. We went through the whole expansion of life that we receive during the spring season in the Northern Hemisphere of the Passover full moon and Easter and the resurrection flame and the equinox that we experienced where additional light came in. Then in May, interesting, the beings of light said we had reached a frequency of vibration, but we still had a ways to go before we would be able to withstand the degree of light necessary to reconnect our solar strands of DNA. And so on May 13th, the astronomers realized that there was an expansion of light through the black hole in the Milky Way that was 75 times greater than anything that had ever been measured. And it bathed the universe for several hours. Now, the black hole has these variables within it, but the beings of light said never had they experienced, the beings of light said never had there been that expansion. The astronomers said they had never experienced anything that was near that expansion of light. The black hole, for example, is 4.6 million times as massive as our sun. And the light flowing through it that is not measured by optical light, this is the infrared light spectrum, was 75 times as great as we've ever experienced. And that expanded through the whole universe. Then it was followed by what scientists said on May 26th by a intergalactic shock wave that actually amplified the solar winds abruptly by 4 times their potency and doubled the interplanetary magnetic fields. Now, what the beings of light described to us is this greatly amplified and shifted the magnetic field around the Earth, opening portals that allowed more light to flow into the Earth that actually shifted humanity's electromagnetic field. And when that happens, our I am presence and our body elemental is able to shift with us energy that's flowing through our physical brain structure. And they said what occurred during that time is that with this amplified electromagnetic energy flowing through us, our I am presence was able to heal and in many instances restore the fragmented patterns of our inner brain connections, activating our spiritual brain centers, which is our pituitary, pineal, and hypothalamus glands, and the ganglionic center at the base of our brain, which assisted us in opening our crown chakra to new levels, moving us closer into higher levels of enlightenment, wisdom, and understanding. So these are major events that then prepared the way for the June solstice. Then we had a very powerful eclipse series in July. Then we went through what is known as the August 8th expansion of the Lion's Gate, which is an ancient ceremony and alignment that takes place above the pyramids in Egypt during the sun cycle of Leo, activating the heart flame. All of this cleared the way. So during the 33rd celebration of harmonic convergence, which began in August 1987, during the 33rd annual World Congress on Illumination, the light of God was able to flow into the physical plane of Earth and reconnect the 12 solar strands of DNA within every man, woman, and child on the planet. Now their God self, their I am presence, is allowing the light and monitoring the light that's flowing through that in perfect alignment with each person's divine plan and their highest good. So this is a monumental shift that's taking place. So all of these wonderful events that will take place now through Global Oneness Day and through the activities of light that we continue in this process of Earth's ascension into her new heaven and her new earth. As we continue this, we are functioning from an entirely different level of sacred knowledge and divine wisdom.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that in, Patricia, because so many people feel alone in this whole process of transformation and shift and awakening. And as you mentioned, we're anything but alone. The cosmic assistance is off the charts.
It really is. And it's so wonderful to have this outer world confirmation that we can tangibly see. So much of it is vibrating at a frequency beyond our physical sight, but consistently through divine intervention and incredible means of encouragement, the beings of light are demonstrating to us that the cosmos is assisting us in every way possible to reclaim our rightful place on the spiral of evolution and reverse these horrific adverse effects of falling into the abyss of separation and duality, where we forgot that we are one and acted out of that fear-based consciousness of us against them.
Yeah, so incredibly, really, I call it reassuring,
Yes,
this cosmic assistance. Patricia, let me ask you, you, of course, are a very bright light helping people to step into this role of awakening and shift and ascension. How do you, are there things that you do during the day as part of your spiritual experience or your process that just allows you to live as fully in the light as you do?
Well, my simplest and most powerful tool is the knowing that with every breath we take, depending on our frame of mind and what we are empowering our thoughts and feelings with, we are either adding to the light of the world or the shadows. So consciously monitoring our feelings and thoughts, knowing that whatever we're thinking or feeling, we are empowering. So if we say, at this moment, are my thoughts and feelings adding to the light of the world or the shadows? If they're not adding to the light of the world, then we need to flood them with a violet flame of forgiveness and transmute them back into light and say, what do I want to empower instead of that? And many times it's difficult things that we have to stay focused on and work with. But we say, how can I do this from a space of love? Detach from the fear or the pain or the anger or the frustration or whatever it is that's surfacing, and say, how can I do this from the heart-based space of love to transform it and transmute it? What do I want to empower instead of this? And that process, it takes discipline. It takes our continual focus of attention, because normally we just let the thoughts of the day muddle through our mind. If something upsets us, we just let it upset us. But what we don't realize is that by doing that, we have given that very thing that upset us a tremendous influx of energy to sustain and empower it and to wreak more havoc in the outer world.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Just this is what it is to live and to be conscious is to be conscious is to be very, very mindful of our being state at
Right.
all times.
Absolutely.
And so when you then when you're mentoring people, this is the key thing that you're focusing on with those that you mentor.
This is what I am focusing on with those that I am mentoring. What else I am really striving to help people understand is that we are powerful beyond our knowing. And beloved Archangel Michael demonstrated that to me decades ago in a way that was one of the most powerful experiences of light I had ever experienced. And just briefly, as I was doing my meditation, I was connecting with my I am presence, invoking the light from the heavenly realms. And I experienced in my mind's eye that light flowing through me, flowing through my heart, expanding like a sun of light to all of my sphere of influence, to my family, my loved ones, my town. And then I projected it here and there to the places on the planet that I wanted to add additional light to because of some difficult challenge that might have been happening in the outer world. And then when I completed my meditation, Archangel Michael appeared to me in my mind's eye. And he said, would you like to know how to expand this invocation and this light from your individual invocation to involving every man, woman, and child on the planet? And I said, well, of course I would. And he said, it's as simple as saying, I am my I am presence, and I am one with the I am presence of all humanity. And he asked me to do that. And when I did that, the light not only expanded through my own heart flame and my sphere of influence, but it exploded like a tremendous starburst of light and enveloped the entire planet. An array of light from my I am presence entered the heart of the I am presence of every person on the planet, alerting them that the light of God was being invoked on their behalf. And every person's I am presence stood in readiness to receive that light. And then knowing what the divine plan is of the person that they're involved with, knowing what the lessons are they're going through, the I am presence of each one took that light and projected it through that person in perfect alignment with their divine plan and their highest good. So instantaneously, my invocations shifted from the light that I was adding to the world to the light that each I am presence in their own unique and individual way was able to add to the light of the world. 7.5 billion people, or however many it was at that time, greatly expanding the light on earth. And each and every one of us have the ability to do that. That isn't a unique gift or a special talent that I have. This is what the beings of light have been trying to help us understand, that we are powerful beyond our knowing. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. There is no separation. And when we say, I am my I am presence, and I am one with the I am presence of every person, we alert every person's I am presence and give that I am presence permission to intervene and project that light into their life. Because the law is that the call for assistance must come from the realm where the assistance is needed. Not even our I am presence can automatically amplify the light through every person without someone in the physical plane invoking that light and giving them permission to do so. So that's how simple it is to do that. I am my I am presence, and I am one with the I am presence of every person on earth. And then invoke that light in perfect alignment with each person's divine plan and the highest good for all concerned.
Beautiful, and we'll share that maybe as we close out this guest module. So
Okay.
I am my I am presence. I am one with the I am presence of all humanity. I am invoking the violet light in perfect alignment with every person's divine plan. I ask my I am presence to transmute every electron of energy that is less than heaven on earth. So be it, and so it is.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Patricia, thanks so much for joining us here for this module. Just extreme gratitude.
Well, you're very welcome. I am grateful to be able to share this sacred knowledge from the higher realms with everyone, inspiring each one to go within and receive this information directly for themselves.
Man, that's it, is we just all go within, and this is where we find the divine, is within. And if we don't go within, we go without. So we must take time to go within.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you, Patricia. Thank you so much. Beautiful.